Hello, I'm Dr. Brad Holmberg from InvisalignDoctors.com, and I'm going to give you a tip how to remove unwanted anterior or posterior shifting of posterior teeth in a treatment plan. Let's look at this case. This is a spacing case. There's a lot of spacing, and when you see this, the treatment plan closed all the spacing and performed the necessary lingual retraction to do that. If you look at the superimposition tool, the amount of retraction actually isn't too bad. So you look at this and you go, hey, that's going to work out well. Let's look at the bottom. The bottom just has some crowding, and it resolved that. So you look at a 20 alignment case, it just looks just fine. Let's look at the anterior occlusion. Oh, there's some bite relief. There are no premature contacts. In fact, in the anterior incisor teeth, there are no contacts at all, and that's kind of what you want to see. But looks can be deceiving. What I like to do is I always use the 3D controls. And the first thing I do is I usually make the second molars unmovable. So I'm loading the 3D controls. Just take a second to load here. Okay, the 3D controls are loaded. And so, first of all, the reason I do that is there's really no need to move them. I like the occlusion. I like his arches. So, I mean, rarely would I say I have to move the second molars. Now, watch closely what happens when I right-click and make the upper second molar unmovable. You can see the whole entire arch on the right side moved distal. Let's do it again. It moved back. It moved anterior. Let's say it's going to be in a posterior direction. So by making the second molar unmovable, all of the teeth, cuspid teeth, everything moved posterior. So there's a posterior shifting of the arch, the entire upper right arch. Let's see what happens when we do the lower molar. Very little change here. They moved a little bit mesial, but there was quite a bit of distal movement of all of the upper right posterior teeth. Well, what's going to happen over here? Same thing. And there's quite a bit more mesial movement. Okay, so I don't want to move the second molars. By making them unmovable, you're basically getting rid of all that anterior posterior, the posterior shifting. It's not there anymore. Now, there's still a lot of movements of these other posterior teeth. I'd probably look at those and try to simplify those if I could. But that anterior posterior shift is gone. So what does that do now after we go ahead and close all the spaces? You can see right away that there's prematurities. So the trick I use is, again, getting rid of that shift unless you intend it to be there. And it's kind of deceptive. It can fool you because you can't really see it. You don't even notice it. And then you go ahead and you approve the treatment plan, and then you end up with just a lot of problems with anterior premature contacts, posterior open bite issues. You're going to have to either leave space, add more space back in the upper arch, a lot of lower IPR, and you're trying to scramble around and figure out how to fix this after the patient has got after they finish their initial set of aligners. So there's a trick to remove the anterior posterior shifting that's unnecessary in a treatment plan. I hope this tip helped you.